After the rest day on the Dakar 2001, things are underway with a bang, and PG Lundmark from Sweden is victorious on the stage today with his production machine. In the cars, absolute chaos with the compasses. Fontenay going one way, Schlesser going another. But it was Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt who was victorious for the second time this year on a stage. Well, the rest day was yesterday at the town of Dakar, and it gave some crews a chance to try and relax and try and do some washing, even if it was at the cost of a t-shirt at times. Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt here, taking a welcome break in one of the local houses. And Mitsubishi teammate Hiroshi Mashioka there as well. Her co-driver Andreas Schultz getting a welcome massage though.
Im Auto vielleicht schaut's aus, wie wir uns schon lange kennen würden.
Here Andreas saying I'm the co-driver for Jutta for quite a while now, and we are as good as a couple together.
Gibt's denn Unterschiede zum
The
Fahren?
question being, is it not a problem that Jutta is a woman?
Weil sie wirklich so schnell fährt und
Andreas saying no, not a problem at all, as long as she doesn't drive without any clothes on.
Da muss schon den Helm runternehmen und ein bisschen was ausziehen.
And Jutta taking time away from the bivouac and investigating how much the trousers were. Obviously far too expensive for Jutta. And as always, a Coke is close at hand.
Wir können halt dadurch, dass wir hier die Rallye machen,
telling us that the good thing about the Dakar is that you can visit places very safely, whereas if I came here on my own, well, it might be a little harder, and that is good, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Vielleicht gar nicht sehen würde.
Jutta's rest day, all important. So stage 11 from Dakar to Nouakchott, down the southwest corner of Mauritania. A short road section and then a big special stage of 437 kilometers right to the bivouac. Well, as the sun rose over the Dakar bivouac, it was to be a day without Spain's Juan Roma. Here he says to us, I'm going back home and I'm going to go and watch FC Barcelona play a match, and I hope that they will win. Team boss Bertie Hauser giving him a final hug. Oh, what could have been for BMW. Hubert Oriol seeing the crews off early this morning, and here PG Lundmark saying, well, I would like to win a stage as it's the only way and the only chance I have to gain time after my gearbox problem the other day. Francois Flick telling us that the rest day was good, even though we had a lot of dust in the bivouac. It was good to have some rest, but just this morning I checked over the motorcycle for a final time and I found a fuse loose, which I have replaced, and now I'm ready to attack. However, attack too hard, Francois did. Only a couple of kilometers into the stage, a massive accident for the Frenchman. He went over the top of the handlebars and was soon attended by a couple of crews, including American Johnny Campbell.
très sérieux, mais rien de dramatique.
Here the medical crew telling us, well, Francois lost consciousness and
Sans signe de gravité, on va lui faire un bilan complémentaire, notamment.
he's a little dizzy. It's not serious, but we'll take him immediately to hospital where we will give him some x-rays, but it's not too bad. So the dunes of the Dakar are always over the next horizon as the 23rd running of the world's biggest and longest motorsport event gets back underway for the second half, and immediately out of the blocks like a rabbit bolting to its hole was PG Lundmark on his KTM. And remember that Lundmark is as good as a privateer. He does all of the servicing himself. He does not have a crew of mechanics working for him, as you can see with the rucksack on his back. A production machine as opposed to a works machine, and he soon was catching up and passing South Africa's Alfie Cox. Lundmark eventually victorious on the stage, over 4¼ minutes quicker than everybody else. Two KTMs teaming up together for quite a few kilometres. Cox's machine running alongside Lundmark's. The pace of life in the desert may have been slow, but at the front it was quick. Here we are with South Africa's Alfie Cox.
Like I say, we're going to stay in this riverbed now, I think for about 40 kilometers. The sand is very soft and it's not handling so good. Well, it's heavy, but all I've got to do is try and find the smooth lines, keep the speed up. I'm going to head to the left of that mountain. Still on cap 175.
Cox was third today, 6¼ minutes back of Lundmark. So therefore, who was second? Well, the answer to that was Carlos de Gavado on his KTM. And Carlos speaking wise words after today's stage, saying there are still 10 days to go and anything can happen. The first part of today's stage was particularly tricky, but Carlos knew it well. And after that, he really got motoring on the fast sections. Cox was third. Fourth went to Spain's Esteve Pujol. The KTM's dominant like nothing ever seen before. Pujol only a handful of seconds back of Cox. Whilst Finland's Kari Tiainen was likewise only 3 seconds back of Pujol. Giovanni Sala, it was KTM after yet another KTM. The single-cylinder machines going like a flying Scotsman. After Sala on the stage was the overall leader on the rest day, Fabrizio Mioni. He was only likewise another handful of seconds back of Sala. Jordi Arcaron second on the rest day. He was 8th today, matching his number 8. So it was KTM's all the way down to 8th position. What of the rest of them? Well, America's Jimmy Lewis was holding up the BMW flag. Jimmy saying his wrists were still extremely weak and not good, particularly over the rough and stony part at the beginning of the stage. His teammates, Cyril Desprez, the young Frenchman who was victorious on Rally Raids last year, he was 10th, just 20 seconds behind his American teammate. And what of the leading Honda? Well, that accolade went to Johnny Campbell on his semi-privateer machine. Johnny came in 13th today, just 34 back of the winner, PG Lundmark, who was just over 4 minutes ahead of De Gavado. Cox third, Esteve Pujol fourth, and flying the flag for Finland, Tiernan in fifth. Overall, Mioni still has the lead from Arcarons, De Gavado, Pujol and Cox. KTM's all the way. PG Lundmark here saying, when I told you this morning that I wanted to win a stage, I've gone on to do it that same day. I was following orders, and I think that they were not going flat out, because after refueling, I could easily catch them. I continued, and as I was navigating my own route, I went off the main route with Alfie.
And you know, to open the track is very difficult. The other rider just caught me up in the stones, you know, when you're making the navigation, and then up to the refuel, it became very fast, but a little bit dangerous, because many traps and holes, and from the refuel all the way to the finish has been so fast. But it's been a good day, but it's not good to start in the front. So I think I haven't had a good. The position is probably 8, 9, 10 today.
Technical problems are everywhere on the Dakar. Sometimes you just think they're never going to end.
Il y a toujours quelque chose qui merde. Filtre à air. Pont avant. Front differential. Ruído. Marmita.
Cilindre hidráulico.
Axle.
Radiador.
The pilot.
Der Motor.
La coupelle du maître cylindre d'embrayage, et ça consiste en ce petit bout de caoutchouc de 2 balles.
Shining.
I need a new riff.
Overall leader of the Dakar on the rest day, Hiroshi Mashioka in his four-wheel drive Mitsubishi Pajero was going like a train. But look at the attitude of Jean-Louis Schlesser's buggy, tilting down on the left-hand side, and navigational problems for Schlesser as he's running what looks to be against rally traffic. Problem with the left-hand side of the car meant that he was struggling, but look at this. Jean-Pierre Fontenay in his blue and white Pajero going the opposite way to that of Schlesser. In the end, it was chaos everywhere. They followed a compass bearing that may have only been a couple of degrees out, but after 30 or 35 kilometers, only a couple of degrees can mean a vast distance. In the end, Jean-Louis Schlesser today lost as good as 1 hour on the 437 kilometer stage. The locals just weren't interested. Also problems for Mashioka, the overall leader. He lost as good as much time as Schlesser. Mashioka did also take the incorrect route with Jean-Louis Schlesser, but likewise mechanical problems rearing an even bigger head for the Japanese driver. He was running a very high water temperature, and at times it was just too much, with the cylinders not firing altogether. Therefore, what is the winner of today's stage? Well, that accolade going to Spain's Jose Maria Servia. He was victorious in his sister machine to that of Schlesser. making a correct navigational job of it all was Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt in her Mitsubishi. She was the leading Mitsubishi on the stage today, but 19 minutes she was giving to Serbia. However, in a 4-hour stage, that was next to nothing. It was dust to lush greenery. However, the revelation of the day goes to Belgium's Stefan Orab in his two-wheel drive VW diesel-engined buggy. It goes without saying he's running in T3. Stefan moving the engine from a rear-engined machine last year to a mid-engined machine this year. And as always with VW, their diesel turbo engines, very, very torquey indeed, and that is the thing that you need at times rather than outright power. Fontenay was 4th in his Mitsubishi. Likewise, Souza in his orange and white machine was 5th, 27 minutes back of Serbia. Thierry Delaverne was 6th today in his Nissan. However, running through the lush green parts of the stage was actually quite negative. The grass going through the radiator grill onto the radiator itself, and that was blocking the radiator, therefore causing the water temperature to rise. Co-driver, as always, doing a sterling job and clearing the radiator for Thierry. Delaverne's Nissan 6th, but Gregoire de Mavius in the sister Nissan chasing hard, still running with the broken windscreen that has been patched up with a little bit of carbon fibre. De Mavius 7th. Kenjiro Shinazuka making a return to the top 10 after a bad couple of stages, including an electrical fault, which they still struggle to find even halfway through the rest day. Shinazuka 8th today. Philippe Vormberg having problems the other day, but coming home 17th today in his two-wheel drive Ford. Pushrod engined, of course. He says, I got a good car for the Paris-Dakar, but at the moment, I've really got to get past Bruno, who's running ahead of me. It's my job, and very hard for me, but I'm always the number 2 driver. And after a long career, it's very difficult for me.
C'est un petit peu dur. Moi, j'ai un petit peu de mal à remplir ce rôle d'assistance rapide parce que j'ai passé beaucoup de temps dans ma petite carrière à assister les autres. Je ne sais pas si la gentillesse paye, mais voilà, c'était convenu de cette façon-là. Donc on est... Voilà.
Ironically, by the time they got to the finish, Bruno Sabi was just a little faster than Vormberg. Former Le Mans winner all the way back in 1972, Henri Pescarolo in his Nissan was chasing the two Fords hard, even though he had some navigational errors. Pescarolo 18th today. On board here with Gianni Laura, the Italian driver. He's saying it's been a very difficult stage today, very dusty, and the dunes have been very soft at one point, and then the road has been very hard and smooth at others. And the co-driver interjects, well, I ate something a bit crook last night, and together with the heat of the day, it has accelerated my tummy problem.
Cosa che abbiamo mangiato al bivacco, non stiamo tanto bene e quindi siamo un po' giù di tono. Bisogna farci forza e reggere queste temperature alte.
Not a good time to have a tummy bug. results today: Serbia just over 4 hours, Kleinschmidt as good as 20 minutes back, Orad, fantastic effort from the Belgian, Fontenay and Souza. Masuoka continues to lead, but a 35-minute lead has been slashed to 12. Kleinschmidt in second, Souza, Schlesser losing time, Serbia fifth. Jean-Marie Le Guen, the co-driver for Serbia here, telling us, well, you just had to choose. It's a navigational stage, and if you were on the rolling terrain, it was easy. We were lucky. Kleinschmidt saying, I'm happy because I now know that Schlesser has been lost for over 30 minutes. It's as good as a return of his attitude over the last few days with the penalties that we suffered because of his attitude. Jean-Louis saying, a bad day. The suspension broke. And at the control point, we were with Masuoka and we followed him. But we made a mistake. We did nearly 50 or even 60 kilometers extra today. We made a U-turn back onto our tracks, and the result is the loss of time.
On est revenu, on a fait 50 ou 60 km de trop. On n'a pas voulu passer l'air.
The trucks were continuing after having offloaded some of their spares. And by the time the crews returned to the bivouac, we had a new winner of the trucks today. Johan Peter Reis in his MAN, quickest over the 437 kilometers, taking a time of just over 6 hours. Lopre, the overall leader, was in second place in his Tatra, whilst Marchio in his Mercedes was third. Lopre leads overall from the Japanese crew of Sugawara. Well, if that stage didn't cause any problems for some of the cars, it certainly did for Schlesser. What can he do tomorrow with the drive to Tijikla, with a stage of 513 kilometers and a very short road section? The Dakar is into its second half as we turn from the Atlantic coast inland back into Africa.